PlayStation.
Hello there, peoples of the internet. We are back with the HFC Sonython. It is now day 10.
Oh.
My god, day 10
Yeah.
already.
I can't believe time has just flown so fast.
I know, right? We have a little bit of a different schedule for today. Mr. Loophole has decided that he needs a few more hours before he can start Uncharted, so just whilst he is getting himself prepared with whatever it is he's doing, we're going to play a little bit of Dissidia NT for you, as I got a beta code for it very, very recently, when I thought I would never actually receive one, so that's pretty damn fantastic.
Oh yeah, so Volk is just going to scree over how handsome Squall looks, and Cloud looks, and Kefka looks, and so on.
There's no Kefka in the closed beta just yet, but he'll be in there pretty soon.
How dare they? But yeah, the schedule for today is Dissidia NT Final Fantasy Beta, then we have Bloody Roar 2 with Snake, and then later we'll have a really long stream with Uncharted 2 with a Loophole. And yeah, as co-coms we'll be taking shifts for that one, because hoo boy.
That is a long one. I wouldn't want to be the person who spends 10 hours in the one call. Then again, I am doing 10 hours worth of Final Fantasy on 2 days. So I figure for this we should probably just start with going through each of the characters in turn and then just having a few good old scraps and see if matchmaking's any good.
Yeah. I guess I've got 2 to 3 hours is the estimate for this one, and I guess I'll do my usual shilling thing since it's the start of the day. Hey all, we are the HFC Sonython, and we're raising money for Child's Play, who seek to improve the quality of life for children in hospitals around the world by providing them with video game systems and games. Every single penny that you donate goes directly to them. We don't touch a cent, and for every $500 we raise, you'll unlock a new incentive game. So far, you have unlocked Jumping Flash, Vib Ribbon, The Simpsons Wrestling, Rugrats Search for Reptar, Devil May Cry 3, Pepsi Man, and as a bonus, it wasn't actually an incentive game at all, we're throwing in Heavy Rain as well. Every little you can give helps, and also for every $5 you donate, you can choose, you don't have to do this, but you can choose to be entered into a raffle for a US PSN download code for Sonic Mania. And you can also use your incentive amount to bid for a certain name to be used in Final Fantasy VII. If you're on the Sonython site, hfc-sonython.com, you can scroll down and see like what name has what amount. And yeah, that'll just save me reading out every single name, so bueno.
Well, hey. So, Dissidia NT is a game that is going to be coming out in January 2018. And basically it plays very similar to the Dissidia games on the PlayStation Portable, being Dissidia Final Fantasy and Dissidia 012 Duodecim. But there are a few key differences from what I can spot early on. For starters, well, the controls are slightly different this time around. And for a second thing, my god, it's so shiny. Like, you have no idea, like, how good this actually looks on my screen, because obviously Twitch has a habit of compressing things quite often, so I'm not sure how well it's actually showing up on the screen right now, but you might be able to get an idea of just how gorgeous this game looks.
Oh, I think we might be getting some Mexican bass monkey action in the call momentarily.
Oh wow, really?
Yep.
The rare sighting of the Mexican bass monkey.
He actually sent us a DM saying he's got a day off so he can join us and whatnot.
Oh, nice.
You're in the Discord? Yes, you are. Holy shit, yeah, just join the general then, mate.
Oh, I got the double KO. Nice.
I gotta say, I fucking love Warrior of Light. I don't know. He's a very simple character, but he took me to victory more than once in the original Dissidia.
He looks just really, really nice. I love that they gave him his own unique design in Dissidia and didn't just go for the standard red-haired fighter kind of dude.
Hello, Mexi.
Hi.
Hey!
How you doing, mate?
What are you talking about original design? This is the first design.
Ah, I see, I see. Hold on, let me bump it up.
Yes, I think Volk needs to be schooled in some Final Fantasy, Mexi. Please do the others.
Yeah, I'm not as well versed in Final Fantasy 1, but of course, that's how I've always saw it in the Final Fantasy 1 kind of video games. I'm not sure how, like, concept art or anything like that went down.
He's always the warrior of light. Have you seen the PlayStation 1 CGI Final Fantasy 1 video thingy?
You mean Final Fantasy Origins?
Yeah, the Origins CGI things.
I know of the game, I just haven't seen any actual footage of it, besides the odd bit of gameplay.
It's the exact same sprite work, that was the GBA version. The only difference is that Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2 got like little CGI cutscene thingies, like before the game. So the Final Fantasy 1 just has Warrior of Light, Dragon, and then Final Fantasy 2 has 4 random kids, because they look nothing like the protagonists, fight some night dudes in their village while it burns to the ground, and then the Emperor shows the hell up.
That Emperor.
David Bowie.
Magic yes. David Bowie.
Very much so, yeah. So, Mexi, how you been lately, mate?
So busy. I got a job earlier this week, and then with said job, I got my own place, and so then I moved into said place, and now I'm settling into my own place.
Good stuff, man. I'm happy for you.
Well, as long as you've been keeping busy and you haven't, like, just disappeared into the ether, that's the important thing.
No, obviously, if he's not on the internet for a single day, he must have vanished, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Well, remember when I took, like, what was it, like 3 months off the internet? But that was also like a car accident and a surgery at the same time, so...
Well, I'm sure you could have done Let's Plays from your hospital bed. What's going on?
Not with hospital Wi-Fi, you can't.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Kinda right there.
Oh, we have a $5 donation. No name. Here's 5 quids for the kids.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful.
You're playing as Furion. Questions here. Does he still feel like more of a ground-oriented character?
Yeah, I would say so. His ground attacks are definitely more involved than his aerial attacks from what I've been getting so far.
Okay, so they've kept him really similar. Just because in the first game that was his whole thing. I mean, he was no X-Death, but he was definitely more of a turtle character. You'd obviously want to keep him on the ground, and then only jump in the air when you were ready to chain spells and or use his straight arrow HP attack. But his ground game was really, really fucking good, and he even had his counter. But then that got nerfed in the second game because they took out dodge cancel combos, and they also nerfed his counter by extending like the lag time. It was just really, really sad because he was my favorite character in the first game.
Aww.
Yeah, he was actually really, really good. His ground game just made him so unique where you have all these other characters flying around and you have this guy who very much prefers to remain grounded.
Yeah, he's not into the anime shit. I'll stay on the floor, thank you very much.
And it was so great because you used to be able to throw the axe, and as it was coming back to you, you would just do a back dodge, and then immediately you could go into the electro knives, and then you could finish off the combo with his HP attack. It was so good, and then they just got rid of it because, believe it or not, his was not even the most broken. It was all Zidane all day, every day.
Like, and then in Duodecim, it was basically everybody with a Kuja assist.
With a Kuja or Aerith assist. I like how everyone now has Aerith assist because you can start her attack. Because her attack is just that she'll freeze the enemy wherever they are. And so it happens that people try to time it with the dash into those air chases so that them trying to dodge your attack is enough time for Aerith to freeze them, and then it's like they're fucked either way. It's great.
Hey, there we go.
I love Dissidia.
I know, it is so great. Who are your main dudes then when you're playing through? I guess you can consider it for a Duodecim or Dissidia, your choice.
So for Dissidia 1, it was Furion, Bartz, and then for seriousness, Zidane, just because he was so broken. And then for Duodecim, I played Yuna. Remember my other ones because it was just a lot of Yuna.
It's okay to only have one main.
Yeah, it was kind of really just the one Zidane still, because he was still good even though without all the like insane dodge combos. That or occasionally Titus, just because he got a lot better with that whole Yuna. Just because you would always use his short hop attack and then just immediately send Yuna to freeze whoever. Or lightning. That was it. I also like lightning.
Yeah, lightning seemed okay, but I just don't like her character, so I never really gave her much of a shot.
Pull in the game. It's Dissidia to me feels a lot like the Persona Q, in that what was the one character trait that everyone liked about this guy? Alright, let's make every line of dialogue be about that.
Yeah. Hypercharge everything.
It was kind of funny because actually the character I wanted to main when I first started the game, because you know you always have that one, was Onion Knight, until I realized that he is hot fucking garbage in the first game.
Yeah, I couldn't really get to grips with him.
Well, the problem with Onion Knight is that he has no mix-up options. If he's close range, he's only going to do one of 3 things, and 2 out of the 3 things you can just block. The third one is like, oh no, I got tricked, but even then it has such a slow startup time that, you know, you could probably dodge it even if you make a little mistake. His only plus is that, oh hey, he's fast. Not so much that he has good mobility, he's just fast. And then in Duodecim they gave him those buffs where he could up his magic attack or up his physical attack.
I'm seeing from the gameplay here that Onion Knight is not one of your mains, Rogue.
Nah, definitely not. I'm just trying to get to grips with him because I've never actually played him in the original Dissidia, so I never really knew what his deal was.
Oh, he's a class changer.
Yeah, he's a class changer, so right now he's kind of got the ninja thing going on at the moment.
Oh shit, they still give Tina her flares. Heck
Oh
yeah,
yeah, she's still got those.
Of just how long they made that combo for Tina with Holy into Flare into Ultima and then into an assist, so you can do it all over again.
Oh, we got something coming up. Ah, Odin! He's pretty hype. I think that might be the... It kind of looks like the Final Fantasy 13 Odin, although I'm not quite sure. Because Odin kind of looks similar, but the look and feel of it does kind of remind me of Final Fantasy 13's Odin.
Wish, but I definitely see more of 9, just because he has the 2, like, gear antlers.
Oh yeah, that he does.
So I see a bit more of 9 in there. But then again, it's all similar enough until you get to, like, I don't know, 8? No, 13's probably the most unique in terms of all the Odin designs. The rest of them just super blend together and or are pixels.
Well, you have to remember the Final Fantasy 13 summons kind of resemble, I guess not entirely Transformers, but they do kind of link together with each other in some weird way. Like Odin has the whole thing where he gives lightning the swords, and Snows is literally a Transformer.
They are actually super fucking Transformers, dude. I mean, come on. The Shiva sisters into a bike. Let's all be honest here.
And then you got Bernhilde, who transforms into a car, and then you got Hecaton, who is pretty much another vehicle whose actual vehicle name escapes me. Is it? I can't remember if it's just like a car or bike or something like that.
And then you got Devastator, who I thought was a bit on the nose, to be honest.
Turns into a cassette tape player. How is that? What does Megatron have against cassette tapes?
Yeah. I don't know, Sweet. I think the UI, it looks very arcadey, which makes sense, because, you know, NT was an arcade game to begin with.
And I suppose a lot of its information does actually help. It seems like they've actually have downscaled it a little bit compared to when I saw some of the early trailers. It definitely looks like they've shrunk it down just a little bit. You know, not so much that you can't actually see anything that's going on, but enough that it doesn't just take up the entire screen, at the very least.
think my issue, what I've seen so far, is, I mean, other than that, they really did set to just like one attack, which is odd. But I think what I saw was you getting hit out of a combo just because another enemy character on the team decided to sneak up on you. I don't like that. I don't like that if I've managed to break your defenses and now you're in the middle of my combo, you should be getting punished to the fullest extent. None of this trickery where I got hit because a character that has nothing to do with this fight managed to get a hit on me.
Yeah, I can see that, and that's why they have actually said that you can do custom lobbies with 1v1, and I think they said 2v2 was an option as well.
Yeah, I can maybe see the 2v2, but 3v3 is just a clusterfuck.
I know. For the sake of just getting in there and having a fun time, I do kind of like the idea of it. Like, for super casual play, just getting a bunch of people in and just going ham on each other, like, the idea of that appeals to me, but I like the idea that if I do want to play serious, I can just go the 1v1 route as well.
Well, 3 versus 3 is the future, because DB Fighters is doing that as well.
Yeah, that's right. But again, that's more traditional in the sense that it's tag-based, and they're not all necessarily going to be on the screen at once.
Fair enough.
And have they said yet with DBZ Fighters if it's you can choose between 1 to 3, or are you locked at 3?
I believe it's going to be like Marvel vs. Capcom, where you basically have to pick 3.
You're locked at 3? That's okay. Cause see, I thought they could maybe pull the Skullgirls route.
I was literally just thinking that.
That's my favorite thing, where if you want to do 1 versus 3, you can, but that one character just has like 3 times as much health, but you lose out on assists and tags. But, because I was going to say that that's probably what I would end up doing, is that I'd do just 2 characters, and then just have one do an actual fight, and then having a second character allows for mix-ups or something.
Yeah. Oh, this is a character I used a lot during my time in Dissidia. Cecil, all about that Dark Knight.
Oh, I do love Cecil. He's pretty damn nice.
He was so awkward for me. Like, I just feel like all his attacks are too slow. And that was like after coming off playing Cloud. Just predictable. But it seems like everything with Cecil had start lag, end lag. It's like, forget this. I'm turning into a paladin and I'm just sending out that satellite. Fuck it.
Oh, I love the fucking satellites. I used to keep switching between Dark Knight and Paladin and basically using the orb projectiles. It got me pretty far.
It's pretty good. The satellite attack was actually meant to be a linked HP attack, but they felt that he already had too many attacks with the 2 movesets, so they just sort of made it a linked HP attack where the game just kind of confuses one of the satellite blasts with the first hit of his HP attack, and they're like, well, something hit the enemy, so I guess the attack hit, your HP attack will continue on.
He seems to play fairly similarly here.
Like that.
Trying to work out if I can swap his to his Dark Knight form. I think it's triangle.
Back on the ground again.
Yeah, there we go. Press triangle and you can change the Dark Knight.
Well, my biggest memories of playing FF4 were on a 3DS. No, a DS, rather. And I think I used action replay codes to where if you press start, you'll just instantly win a battle. Because I was just more interested in the story than the gameplay at that time. Because I played normally up until, like, Dark Elf or whatever, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm kind of bored now.
Let's see, how far... So I haven't beaten Final Fantasy IV. The furthest I got was right after the Fiend of Water. And I'm like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Always telling myself. What was that?
Yeah. No, go on.
Oh, I keep telling myself that I'll go back and finish it, maybe on stream, and then I realize, nope, too lazy.
Well, we'll get to FF2 and then 3 and then 4 eventually, I suppose.
Video games.
Just where do we find the time for them?
Indeed. But yeah, Mexi, have you seen that like FF4DS looking Final Fantasy 15 thing they're coming out with?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan, especially when we literally have the theater rhythm, the we have Oh, World of Final Fantasy. We literally have 2 chibi styles, and they went with neither of them, and instead made this abomination.
I don't know, it looks pretty okay. It'll be a good fit for the Switch, I think.
Sure. I'm more excited for mods for Final Fantasy 15.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good. That's gonna open up a rather hilarious can of worms. I'm looking forward to it.
I love the trust that they put in us.
I think they almost pretty much resigned to the fact that they know it's going to happen, but you said, you know what, you can do what you want, just if you're gonna go down that route, at least have some kind of, I suppose, tact, maybe, obscurity.
Yeah. I love how on like the article for it, it's got a picture of Cindy when you know everyone's going to go after Noctis.
I don't know, I'm looking forward to seeing the mods that... I'm looking forward to seeing pages of mods with like gladios and like banana hammocks and what have you.
No, just replace every character with Pikachu. Much better.
Plays Pikachu's.
Turn the car into a Taurus, you got a Pokemon road trip.
Nice.
We have only each other to depend upon.
Bart's.
Yet another stop on my
He got so screwed over when the second game came out, because so his whole mimic gimmick, superficial, but I think one of the coolest things that you could do with him in the first game were dodge cancels combos, where you could do like 2 hits out of one combo, just do a quick dodge, start the next attack, and then by then you've used like 4 different people's moves in this combo. And it was great, and then they got rid of it all, and then they actually made his moveset way weaker, because they had to change some moves, and he was just kind of bleh. I was really excited to use him in this game.
One thing I'll always give Bart's credit for is he has some really, really cool just looking moves where he's switching over from everybody's weapons, like wielding Squall and Cloud swords in either hand and just going ham on somebody. I loved that.
He's really underrated in terms of what he brings to the Dissidia games, and he's definitely going to be the character I start with. He's going to be my Onion Knight for this game. I'm going to hope he's good, I'm going to try him out, but then I'm probably going to find out that he's shit and play top tier characters. Oh well.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Oh well.
I love how chill he is in a World of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Bart is a pretty chill dude most of the time, I would say, but especially in World of Final Fantasy, they really played into that quite a lot, and of course with Gilgamesh, you could just tell he's at the point where he's already bored of him and he's only known him for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm playing World of Final Fantasy wrong, because I'm like, I think halfway through the game, I'm not entirely sure. Big bad things have just happened, so yeah, it's kind of hard to pinpoint it. But no matter how well I'm playing or how crap I'm playing, I just can't get a beat on it.
Yeah, it gets a bit tricky at that point, I think, because that's where a lot of a game like opens up difficulty-wise, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like some of the bosses there in the optional fights giving me a pretty tough time. Again, just trying my best not to reveal too much because spoilery rules and all that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Enough.
You have my thanks.
So it seems like depending on what kind of style you go for, you get different HP attacks, and the boss we got was obviously Earthquake, so I imagine this other one's more of a close combat orientated one. I kind of like the idea of having multiple HP attacks like in the original Dissidias, but I can kind of understand what they were going for here, but I'm kind of hoping if they go the 1v1 route, they maybe find a way to maybe do it more like the classic setup where you have multiple HP moves you can use in different situations.
Yeah, because that's the thing that I know a lot of people don't pick up when they play fighting games, even if you just play like, I mean, I know it like practice story mode when you're playing against computers, is that, you know, even if a move is strong and looks cool, like if it's the only attack you have, it might as well be useless, because people know, like anytime you play an actual human being, if I know you have this one attack and I know that you picked the short range version of that one attack, the fuck away. Like it just seems like having one HP attack is really limiting, and it kind of just, I don't know, it gets rid of the guess game of fighters. That's the reason why I liked how you had 3 aerial, 3 ground HP attacks, is that even if you know that, hey, this guy, all of his ground HP attacks are short range, or I know where they're effective, at least you still wouldn't know being ready for. There were options there. You had mix-ups.
Yeah. Oh, now, here's a character I wasn't very good with in Dissidia. I think this one was entirely my fault, because I'm more about the melee fighters than the stay in the back and cast magic sort of goers.
Definitely, because...
Well, Terra kind of has a mix of both.
Oh, they made her a bit more short range now?
I think so. She has some short-range magic that she can utilize, as well as some long-range.
Yeah, because she used to have aerial Blizzaga, but that was more a get-out-of-my-face attack instead of, like, hey, I'm gonna charge in and attack you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Broken in the first game. Her and Zidane were, like, the top two characters, and her deal was, I think, a lot of it had to do with, like, the fact that if at least one of your attacks hit, you could always chain the next attack in. And I think with her Faraga attack or something, I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, she got buffed down in the second game. I give it credit, they changed a lot. They made the game feel less exciting, but balanced everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I say, with the whole HP attack thing, I kind of understand why, because you have 3 dudes in there, and I think with 3 dudes, all with 3 HP attacks, it gets way too hectic at that point. Just kind of thinking about all the different possibilities. But that's why I think it could be rebalanced for 1v1 in particular. And just, like, have like a multitude of HP attacks you can call upon, the same way you have different Brave attacks you can call upon.
Oh yeah, do, again, bring it back to Skullgirls. The number of HP attacks is inverse to your number of players. If you have one character, if everyone gets 1 HP attack, something like that.
Yeah, that would work pretty nicely. Do we have enough for a summon? No, we don't. We're about halfway. God, I love Meltdown so much. It's probably one of my favorite spells in Final Fantasy. Like, many people, like, swear by the meteors and things like that. No, give me Meltdown, especially the one from Final Fantasy VIII, where it just literally melts the dude on the spot and you can see it all distort and shit. That was crazy good.
Didn't that also have a Vitality 0 effect on it?
Yep, it did, and if you attach Meltdown to your weapon, then anytime you did a normal attack or whatever, it would apply the Vitality 0 status on them as well. It was the best. Loved Meltdown. Absolute game changer, and occasionally a lifesaver.
Pretty sure that was like always one of the first things they'd get onto Ultimecia. Just for everybody, Meltdown on Ultimecia.
So, Volk, have you been following Dissidia NT? Do you know what villains have been announced so far?
Yes. I have a good idea of which ones have been announced so far. We have Garland, Emperor, we also have Exdef, Kefka, Sephiroth. Kuja was announced fairly recently as well. Jekt was also the most recent announcement, so we got Jekt as well. I don't know, I kind of like Jekt, but I kind of wish they put in Seymour. Seeing as he's more of a villain character, whereas Jekt is more of a rival kind of person.
Well, and they even talk about that in the first 2 games too. They do a lot to try and rationalize Jekt. I know in the first game it's all like, hey, he's not that bad, we just need...
He's just a terrible dad, that's his shtick.
Yeah, well, it was more about, look, Jekt is in this game because we need Titus to have a character arc, so he's gonna have more effect off Jekt than with Seymour. And they even like talk about that in the game, which is super weird. And then in the second game they do the whole, it's a prequel, so now he's a good guy because this is a reference to the original game.
Okay,
I don't know why they have Titus be the bad guy though, that makes no sense.
These are the characters in the game so far. I'm not entirely sure whether this is arcade or not, but Warrior of Light, Garland, Firion, the Emperor, Onion Knight, Cecil Harvey, Kane Highwind, Bart's Klauser, Exdef, Tara Branford, Kefka, Palazzo, Cloud Strife, Sephiroth, Squall, Leonhardt, Zidane, Tribal, Kuja, Tidus, Jekt, Shinoto, Vam, Lightning, Yi, Shultora, Rule, Ramza from Final Fantasy Tactics, and Ace.
Hey, yeah, that's right. They don't have Ramza or Ace in the beta either, so they stuck with the mainline Final Fantasy characters for the sake of the beta test. Although I am looking forward to seeing how Ramza plays properly, so that should be pretty hype.
Excited for Ramza.
Especially because he's got his mercenary armor as well. Oh, Cloud, you're so pretty! It just makes me want the Final Fantasy VII remake even more, just seeing him like this.
You guys ever get super interested in Final Fantasy Dissidia and you want to look up a really good Cloud, Dart is probably hands down the best Cloud ever, and it's actually a real treat to watch his Cloud.
I think I remember seeing a video of him way back, and yeah, it was pretty hype.
Also, yes, he is named after the Legend of Dragoon character, so, you know, just everything comes together, everything is connected. All one big conspiracy.
Oh my god, he is so meaty. You can actually charge his attacks, so they do even more damage and just lay on even more of the hurting.
See, that works. That actually works, because now the timing for all of his attacks is variable. Like, that used to be his huge downside, was that all of his attacks are slow, you know when they're gonna hit, you have plenty of time to dodge, but if they're charge attacks, you don't fucking know. And now with Cloud, you can exploit people that trigger dodge.
Yes.
I feel like I'm gonna have to learn Cloud.
Oh yeah, he seems incredibly solid from what I'm playing so far.
That's good, because he always was super tied down by being the designated beginner character. Even though Warrior of Light is the, you know, the all-around character, Cloud is designed to be the beginner character.
But yeah, as a charged character, it just feels so right, and it just gives him so much more variety in his gameplay, because you can either go in for the non-charged, relatively quick attacks that don't do as much damage, or you could literally try and fake him out and just charge up a massive finishing touch into a whole stream of dudes and then follow it up with a meteor rain.
Oh,
he just plays so solid, like you just saw there, we pretty much made mincemeat out of those guys.
Literally Guile.
Alright, now we get on to school now. And we were playing a little bit of him during the sound testing, but we'll give him a proper go now and see if we can figure out what he's all about.
It's giant sword Marth. Next to girl Marth. Next to old Marth.
Are you looking forward to playing Marth Dynasty Warriors by any chance? 52 varieties of Marth, all ready to go on a massive battlefield.
Survives. We're working up the ultimate attack is a waste of time. I don't know, because that's kind of how the game ended up becoming. Because X mode, after a while, became useless, and you wanted to use it more as that X defend thing, where like time freezes and you could get out of any attack. That's what most people ended up using their X bars for, anyways, because there was really no reason to use anyone's X mode in competitive play.
Yeah. It's kind of odd, because I do like the X modes, just in general, but they just became obsolete because of X defend mostly. It was kind of sad.
Some of the modes were really creative. Like, it took me forever to realize the reference in Lagunas. Because what happens is that, I mean, the actual power-up itself is useless. Like, it gets rid of all of his cooldown lag, but all of his weapons turn gold. And I was wondering for a while why that happened, and I remember that it's a reference to him casting Aura on himself, so his weapon turns gold.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that one I forgot. Because most of them is like, if they transform at any point in the game, we're gonna do that. If they don't, then we're just gonna give them their ultimate weapon. Or in the case of Cecil, give him the weapon we should have given him in the first place, some fucking swords.
Oh, he's still got the multiple stab move as well. Love it. That move was so broken in the original Dissidias.
Oh, I don't even remember what the name was, but yeah, I saw it. We're good.
Brutal Shell. Brutal Shell, that was it.
You can leave that one to me.
Oh,
yes,
get
it
back
is
here,
for
monkey.
witch time.
There we
Just
go.
it's literally what Ultimish's X mode does. It freezes time so she can freeze even more time later on.
Good old time compression. Spelt with a K, because reasons.
Because Mortal Kombat.
Well, there was a whole thing that Ultimate is meant to be a little bit on the kind of Russian accenty side. That's why she sort of pronounces C's almost like K's, I suppose. But I never bought it really myself.
No, they were just trying to make her interesting when she really, really wasn't.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Shantoto plays. She was always one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters. Mostly because of Dissidia. Just seeing her personality shine in Dissidia, just like, yep. I like Shantoto.
She is the one who always rhymes.
Thank you.
So that's always a pleasure.
And don't forget, guys, we are raising money for Child's Play, so feel free to chuck a tenner our way. You'll get you 2 entries to the US PSN download code for Sonic Mania, and you can also put it towards a name in Final Fantasy VII. Oh, I think Aeris as Gonna Live is beating out Aeris as Gonna Die, $141 to $75. Ooh. And don't forget Sid as Guy Fieri.
Yes. I love the. I can't remember who came up with that, but I just love it. I think it was Richie, or was it Miranda? I can't quite remember.
Either way.
Oh no, it might have been Tanner. Thinking about it.
Yeah, it sounds like something Tanner would do.
Oh no.
It looks like the folks upstairs are doing a spot of clock building upstairs, so if you hear a little bit of thumping, don't be alarmed. The earthquake hasn't come to my little harbour town.
Building a clock.
Yeah, my dad's gotten into clock building recently. He's actually pretty good at it now. He just like literally takes scraps pieces of wood, like turns them into something, then sells them off again for like 40 quid or so.
I mean, my dad does the same, but he doesn't build clocks. It's more like plaques and coat racks and coat hangers and shit like that. But he'll also like burn decals on it and stuff.
Ah, that's kind of cool.
Why do dads have such weird hobbies? Why can't they just play video games?
It would make things slightly easier, although to be fair, my dad does dabble in the video games as well.
As does mine. Although mine dabbles more in cartoons, because what he told me when I first showed him the new DuckTales intro. Because I was wondering for the longest time why I was such a big DuckTales fan, and then I realized that it's all his fucking fault. Because I showed him the intro, and the first thing he says is, "Why wasn't Magica the Spell in it?"
That's how you know you got a cool dad.
It's like, you fucking nerd! New DuckTales, and that's the shit you're worried about!
Well, it should probably be a season 2 thing.
Overall, they've mentioned something either that like she'll be the season villain, or yeah, they'll just use her next season.
Mm-hmm. How is it, by the way? I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Good. It's so good!
Yeah, I've heard good things about it, although some people are worried that direction might cause it to go somewhere that it has really no right being in. Just because it's always what all the kids are like expecting and watching these days, where DuckTales is one of those things where it's better when it gets to kind of do its own thing.
I don't know, because I feel like it set up the other shows that people are worried that's going to copy off of. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to end up like Gravity Falls or Star versus the Force of Evil, where it's going to have that overarching plot, character dramas. But the thing is, I enjoy that shit. And the only reason cartoons were doing that is because shows like DuckTales kind of like inspired them. So I don't see why not. It'll just close the circle, and they have the characters set up with better personalities that it works now. They couldn't do it with the old show, but the fact that all the characters now have actual legit distinct personalities and they actually interact good together, like I have no problem seeing it take on like an overarching mystery elements and like character dramas. Like roll with it, do it.
There's Rama, or he is occasionally known as Ramu for some reason. That's one thing that's getting me about Final Fantasy recently, and this was particularly evident in Final Fantasy 15 and World of Final Fantasy jointly, where one literally pronounces it as Ramu, and then literally you go to the other game and it's pronounced as Rama. It's like, so which one is it?
Yeah. I thought it was funny when Lightning's voice actress, when Duodecim came out, people were sending her a shit ton of messages because of how she pronounced Thundaga. Because how she shouts it. Wondering, well, it wasn't like they weren't complaining at her, they were asking her, did they tell you to pronounce it that way, or was that something that you came up with? Like, it was really weird the amount of doubt so many people had that that her pronunciation was either official or just, you know, the voice actress.
Well, I could kind of see where they're getting from, because obviously, without the whole voice acting thing in Final Fantasy's past, we've kind of always had our own ideas of how it might be pronounced, and then all of a sudden, like, you got the first voice-acted games pronouncing it that way, and you think, oh, is that how you pronounce it? Then, like, 2 games later, they pronounce it some way completely differently, and then you're just like, wait, so which one is it? I am very confused now.
You have the ever volatile Titus.
Oh yeah, that one's always a hot topic of conversation. Speaking of, there we go. We got to try him out now.
Oh, okay. Well, timed that perfectly. It has to be Titus, isn't that how James Arnold Taylor says it?
That's how he says it. That's how Yuna in Duodecim says it. His Japanese name is Tida. Like, it's Titus, guys. Sorry. I know you want it to be Titus. You think that it's a pun on Tide, but all of Titus's characters is references to the sun. So no, you can't use Tide as your justification.
Damn.
Double damn.
Titus is pretty funny in World of Final Fantasy, I gotta say.
He's a pretty good character. I even like him in the original game.
Yeah.
Just, you know, you just gotta play the game for him to get good. It's like when people bitch about Luke in Tales of the Abyss. It's like, yes, we know he's a bad character. He's supposed to be. That's good. Point is, he plays Dark Souls, he learns, and then he got good.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I always thought he was an alright character. I don't get all the hate for him. I guess because he was happy-go-lucky, and I think people prefer their main characters to be like these cool edgelords or something like that nowadays. But I never really bought that. I thought Titus was a really, really fun character.
Oh yeah. That's why Bartz to me is one of my favorite, and why I feel he's super underrated as a protagonist.
Yeah, he's like just the dude who like really, really loves adventure, even like when the world is in imminent peril with the whole X-Death returning thing.
It also doesn't help that he's one of the oldest protagonists.
Really? I always thought he was
20.
pretty young.
No, he's like 21, dude. He's actually one of... I think he's the second oldest after Cloud.
Wow. He's basically a granddad in Final Fantasy years.
Man, they
anime grandpa.
Yeah, they should do a middle-aged main character of Final Fantasy game, see how that works out.
Well, they kind of did it with Noctis near the end. When it's all, they had the whole 10-year time skip thing, and he sort of like grew that weird beard, and, you know, he was probably in his, like, late 20s, early 30s at that point. So I guess technically speaking, if you count that, Noctis is actually the oldest protagonist. But only for a little while.
So here's the thing. So Bartz is 20. I know Cloud is like 21, 22. So, you know how Auron in the game is meant to be the grizzled old character? He's at the end of his life, / at the end of his life. Spoilers, I don't give a shit, it's an old game.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 35.
Seriously?
He's only fucking 35, and he acts like he's 60 for the whole fucking game.
You know, I honestly thought he was somewhere in like his mid-40s. I didn't think he was like super duper old, but certainly sort of reaching that kind of midlife crisis kind of age.
It's like when everyone keeps talking about we need middle-aged characters in anime. They are there. It's just that they're being treated as if they're ancient, grizzled, old characters. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Goldstorm, I'd imagine since they're utilizing magic and so forth, they just, like, die quicker. Like, their bodies just deteriorate that much faster.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into what the original plot of Final Fantasy X was going to be, where everyone dies when you hit a certain age. So they started with the concept of Spirit being that it's surrounded by death, but instead of all the death being caused by sin, being a giant kaiju monster that just destroys everything, they instead had it be this more natural force that when people hit a certain age, they just automatically die, and people lived in fear of that. So I think that might also be why Auron only being 35, why he acts like he's so fucking old, is that they probably intended him to be a character that had lived past that expiration date or something.
Ooh, that sounds like a pretty good plot point if it actually went through.
Well, I mean, Auron was around when, well, basically, the whole point of Auron's character is that he was around when Braska, the last person in the game before, obviously, Yuna, who went on to defeat Sin. And it was Braska, Auron, and Jecht, I believe. And they kind of went upon the whole Sin pilgrimage, and then 10 years later, Sin returned, and obviously Jecht is now the space whale, because reasons. And it falls into Titus to help sort it out, and basically travel around with Yuna and do the whole beat up the space whale thing.
Again. And they actually originally wanted Braska's pilgrimage to be Final Fantasy X-2, but then they were like, nah, let's not. That's too good of an idea. Let's go with Charlie's Angels.
You know what? I found a hilarious image where they did Final Fantasy X-2 as if it was like that, but Braska, Auron, and Jecht are in Yuna, Riku, and Payne's outfits. It's amazing.
Christ.
Just like seeing Jecht rocking out Riku's outfit. It looks so wrong, but at the same time, he kind of makes it look good. It's kind of scary.
It feels so right.
It really does. If you look it up, you'll probably be able to find out. It fits him too well, almost. It's just, it's not something you want to look at without being prepared for possible nightmare fuel. Just the idea of just muscly men and just like going in these skimpy outfits, dancing around to fucking Real Emotion or some shit.
Okay,
I'm
well,
sorry.
got it.
Wait, I'm sorry, did we use the word nightmare in that? Because I think I'm having an opposite reaction going on here.
Okay, well, it kind of depends how into that sort of thing you are. Alright, so we are now playing as Vitaru, which is clearly the best race in Final Fantasy XI. Anybody who says otherwise is wrong.
I'm such a wussy. I always play as the minuet characters in MMOs. I don't know why I do it.
Alright, Shen Toto, let's see what you've got on the table.
God,
She got magic, bro.
She just fucking rhymes all the time, on a dime. It's a crime.
Actually, I have to
I wanna
admit,
leave
some of
this
the rhyming conventions that Shen Toto is actually able to come up with are actually really clever.
Doesn't she poison, what the fuck is the main male protagonist's name in World of Final Fantasy?
Lan.
There you go.
I think he.
Sure she does, because I remember the original Dissidia's, like, that was the only way you were gonna be able to get a hit stun for her magic chains.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
doesn't look like she's quite as chainy as last time.
Maybe I'm just doing it in, like, the wrong orders or something like that. I feel like maybe you could get something going here.
Necessary, she has a fucking scythe. Best character ever.
Yep.
We're done. We're done. Stream over. We're good. I know who I'm playing as.
Yeah,
She
because
has no fucking
black
scythe.
mages in Final Fantasy XI could actually use scythes, but it was such a low weapon skill rank. It was like a D rank skill or something like that. But the fact that they could just use scythes if they wanted to was kind of badass.
That's kind of there with Final Fantasy 1 black mages using knives. I was like, what? Or the white mages being able to use flails and clubs. It's like, that's
Well,
a
that one
little
kind of
too
makes
violent.
sense. I mean, a lot of like priests and such like that, or priesty style classes, do generally tend to use clubs and maces and things like that. Flails, well, I suppose
They do.
sometimes they put those in with maces, so I guess you kind of have to have those in by a technicality or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely just a D&D thing.
Pretty much.
Just because if anyone tells you Final Fantasy isn't inspired by D&D, they're a fucking liar.
Pretty much. Especially in
Why?
Final Fantasy XI.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm actually
Yeah,
noticing
sure,
that Van
Luke.
actually does have 2 HP attacks.
Huh.
Yeah, you got one with Red Spiral and White Wall, and you got another one with Azure Torment and Calamitous Orb. Ah, alright. So, this might be Van's, like, main deal. He has 2 different HP attacks then.
Shit. See, now I really don't know anything about this game. Maybe you can't just stock them up.
I don't know, it may be a thing that's exclusive to Van, potentially, or maybe a couple of other characters, but we'll see. Because obviously this is the first time I'm using Van, and he has basically 2 HP attacks right off the bat, so I'm assuming it's a thing exclusive to him, or it's one of his main benefits.
Neato. I like it. I like it. Then again, I also kind of really liked Vaughn. I never put in the time to get really good at him, but I've appreciated, like, moves and some of his really neato combos that he could do if you had Onion Knight as your assist. You could do all kinds of neat, like, catch and pass combos with them. It was almost like they were made
for each other. Well, they kind of have similar personalities, at least in Dissidia, at the very least.
I mean, they tried to put them together plot-wise as, you know, an annoying older brother and a younger child who really doesn't want any sort of family. He just wants to blow shit up.
Pretty much. One thing I will say about Van and Duodecim, we had like one of the best scenes in the story mode.
Which one?
The one where he's stealing away Terra from Kefka, and it's just like, alright, I'm stealing your girl, and Kefka's just staying there like, yeah, fine, it's been a pleasure. Wait, what?
Oh, that's a good one. I love that one.
Kefka's just brilliant
like,
in that game.
Because that's the other thing too, is that it's not just a good Vaughn scene, it's a great Kefka scene.
Yeah, like the two play off each other brilliantly.
Yeah, that's the stuff I kind of want more out of Dissidia and World of Final Fantasy. Like, look, I get Dissidia is a fighter, so that preconception that they're not going to put as much time into the story, but I really would like to see more of those joke characters all coming together and playing off each other.
Absolutely. And literally, Duodecim in particular has quite a few moments like that, like with Laguna and Cloud of Darkness, where he gets a leg cramp just looking at her and all that kind of jazz.
Horny old man.
Pretty much. Oh, that's pretty neat. Apparently one of Van's triangle attacks, or support attacks rather, lets him keep all his bravery even after using a HP attack.
What?
I think
This is a broken character.
I think it's only for this particular setup I have going, but yeah, I literally used Dreadnought earlier and used a HP attack, and it didn't seem to use up his bravery afterward.
Heck yeah. I'm trying to remember whose summon that was, but there's one where it just locks your HP.
Oh,
which, you know,
yeah, I know the one you mean, but there's so many summons in that game, I honestly can't remember. Like, literally any summon in a video game or any, like, prolific enemy was basically made into a summon in Dissidia. And they all had crazy as hell effects.
I've never played FF12 myself, but I do have a very vivid memory of watching a summon video for the game, and it had a Rise Against track in the background.
The summons in 12 are really fucking good. I love all the Espers. I love their whole story.
I just like that they went with the outside the norm almost, because, you know, they usually go with like Yeshivas, your efforts and things like that, but they threw in some really interesting ones in there. It was actually quite a breath of fresh air.
Oh yeah, the first 5 bosses of the first 5 games, the 5 generals from Tactics, and then +3.
Yeah. Because, of course, for those who don't know, Final Fantasy XII is set in Evilus, which is the same world as Final Fantasy Tactics. And it's probably one of the few occasions, I think maybe the only occasions, where 2 Final Fantasy games are officially linked together in some way, shape, or form.
So I'm trying to remember. So Tactics Advance, Wolf. I'm pretty sure Vagrant Story is also in Evilise, but that's not a Final Fantasy.
Hmm.
So, but that is one thing that I like with Final Fantasy that they've done pre-MMOs, is that they decided, hey, this is one world that we've made, and then setting lots of games in it. So everything else is just dumped unless it gets a sequel.
So what was your opinion on Final Fantasy XII? I mean, I haven't had the chance to play Zodiac Age yet, but from what I remember of it, it was pretty damn good. It's just that obviously it had this crisis of not being able to figure out quite who the main character is.
Yeah, I mean, well, Vaughn is an Ishmael, so you can always just leave it at that. Like, that just ends the discussions there. Like, just because a character is the narrator doesn't mean they're the protagonist or the main character. Like, that's a literary thing, guys. So there was that. I think my big issue was that I didn't like the team cohesion. Like, to me, I just hated that even though you only had a party of 6, you literally had characters that never talked to each other for the entire game. Penelo and Fran never talk.
Well, to each other at the very least.
And you only have 6 characters, because you can't even be like, oh, well, there's just so many people, you can't have character interactions between all of them. No! It's like Xenoblade, like, they kind of force character interactions outside of the plot, and even in the plot, though, at least everyone talks to someone once, but with 12, it's just really bad that you have these 3 couples that are together for no good reason, and then at the very, very end, it could seem like they're best friends or whatever, because Vaughn tells Ash, don't worry, you can handle it, you got friends. Who? What friends? Y'all are just some people that have been tagging around with her adventure for no good reason. I need to know what you're rationalizing this relationship with.
Although individually, a lot of the characters are really damn awesome in that game. Like, Bash is pretty damn fun. Balthier is, like, amazing in that game. Like, easily one of the best characters for me.
I think it's just, I didn't like how it didn't feel like I was playing a team. And I know it goes against anime cliches, but I also kind of hated how boss conflict just didn't feel that big to me. Like, I know that's the point. It's the whole Star Wars thing where you're not saving the world, you're just trying to save the one battle that could be the tipping point for the war. That's the backdrop of the game, but I just didn't like that that was my final battle, as, hey, maybe we can win this one battle, but the war's gonna keep going on. It's like, well, then what the fuck am I doing? Why am I taking part in it? I want to save the world, guys. I want my actions to have, like, monumentous value.
You want what you're doing to have meaning, and that's kind of the big thing I had a problem with in Xenoblade Chronicles X, because it gave me such a big vibe like that.
Yeah. Well, to me, Xenoblade Chronicles is just Final Fantasy 12 done right. They even have the same plot twist. Sorry. But it's the same fucking game. Just better. So much better.
Oh, we have a $50 donation, no name. Hey guys, want to throw this up for the cool kids raising money for charity and for the kids. Put this towards Eris being named Gonna Die.
And thus, we finally have someone who at least knows of the harsh realities of life. Eris does not live. I'm sorry, it just isn't gonna happen. Or could you just imagine, though, if that's a cheat code of some kind in Final Fantasy VII, you just name Eris, I'm gonna live, and then they're just like, at the end, she just gets back up.
Alright, comment down their GameStop, forum boards.
Jeez.
Comment down their V.
Alright, so now we get to play as Y'shtola, who is from Final Fantasy XIV, and is pretty much a white mage. I'm not sure if she has, like, any other jobs or descriptions or things like that. I know she does get a kind of badass-looking costume later in 14's expansions, I believe, but she is mostly a white mage. So let's see how she plays. Should be interesting. Although we were talking earlier about Final Fantasy X, and this is something I discovered fairly recently, but did you ever read, like, the extra Final Fantasy X, I guess, novel that was released at some point?
I didn't hear good things.
Wait, which one was that about?
It's the one where you got, like, these 2 trainee summoners or something like that, and Tidus just looks completely ridiculous, and in the end he and Yuta split up or something like that, and...
What? I have not heard of this?
Yeah, look it up. It's an actual thing that was been released in some official capacity. It's crazy. Like, you go through all that trouble in Final Fantasy X too, and then literally 6 months later they split up.
Oh, nice.
Well done, Tidus. Truly, you are the relationship maestro.
Well, I mean, Yuna was having a pretty dope life without him. You know, pop star sensation, high summoner, World Uniter, World Savior. Does she really need him? Yeah. Nah.
But no,
She's
they
gonna
even
be
have like
like-
some concept art and such, and you get to see what Tidus actually looks like however long it was. I think it was like either 6 months or a year and a half.
See, she's like Bart's. She doesn't need no man. She's married to adventure.
Pretty much. Well, she was well-to-do for a little while, but then in Final Fantasy X-2, that kind of turned on a dime.
Let me look this shit up. I can probably find a synopsis. Final Fantasy X novel. The X 2.5.
That's such a Square Enix name.
Oh, is there a fucking summary for this? I don't want to read the whole thing.
I think if you go to the... I think there was a Wikia article on it or something like that that sums it up quite cohesively.
Well,
I feel like I want to read the whole thing just for the pain.
I'll tell you, if you get another $50, I will read the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
That's a treat right there. Come on, guys. Get donating. We want that. Alright, so we've tried pretty much all the characters at least once now, so this is at the point where I usually figure out, okay, who did I rather like, and who should I try out some more? And
Cloud was pretty good, dude. I am super impressed at Cloud.
oh yeah, Cloud seems like a clear winner. Obviously my boy Squall is always going to be somewhat of a front runner as well, but Cloud...
well.
I mean, I'll main as Bulk's balls, sure, why not?
No, of course you would.
Main Cloud or no balls. Alright.
Main Cloud, no balls build.
Alright, let's get 90 minutes of matchmaking in then, Vol.
Alrighty then, let me have another quick practice round with Cloud, and then I'll break him in over there. See if the matchmaking's actually any good. It is a beta after all, so I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't entirely all there, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't paying attention for some of the other ones. Cloud was just the one that really caught my eye with how different he was. Everyone else just seemed like it looks similar. I definitely know it feels similar, but just the fact that Cloud seems to be very, very different that I could tell from the get-go with those charge attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And what piqued my interest. And I guess Bart's, because Bart's is best. And then that whole Vaughn HP lock thing was pretty dope. And do you only have to defeat one character on the opposing team, or...?
In a 3v3 situation, it's the first one to get 3 KOs. It can be on the same character, it can be on different characters. You just need to make sure you get the 3 KOs.
Huh. And it definitely feels arcadey, because it's like, that's a lot that's out of my hands.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but like I said, it seems like one of those games that you can very easily just sit down with and just really have fun with it without being too concerned. But I like that they did add the 1v1 options in there, because I know that a lot of purists will really enjoy that.
Vol,
Yeah.
check if you drop in frames, please.
Nope, I haven't dropped a frame yet, I don't think. It's still
Must be on my end then.
That's fine.
So I was gonna say, I got smoothness.
Well, shit.
Oh yeah, that's another thing we should probably discuss, just how smooth as butter this game actually is. Like, holy crap, it is so smooth.
You can leave that one to me.
Christ. Yeah, $50 to read the Final Fantasy X hyphen 2.5. I know Daisho.
I know that show.
Jesus Christ.
You fucking weeb.
Alright, we've got $25, so I'll count that for half of it. I'm not going to be stingy. Oh, 25 to Ares Can't Live. That's the same donation, by the way.
We are on the cusp of victory.
Is it smooth, McGrooved Volk? Yo, this reminds me. I picked up my GBA from my parents' house, and in it is Final Fantasy V. I can totes do a fiesta this weekend. Fuck yes. I love 4-jump fiestas. They're great.
So yeah, now we only need $25 dues for the thingamabob. Doesn't have to be a single knight donating all these coins of the realm. It can be a group effort.
Cute.
Oh, and Squall's dead. I'm trying to work out
good
what
effort.
Cloud's extra triangle bullshit does, because obviously he has limit break, but I'm not entirely sure what it does.
That went exactly like I thought it would.
Breaks your limit.
Yeah, but does it just like allow you to use your high strength attacks as though they were light attacks or something like that? That's what I'm trying to work out here.
Bro, I've played Smash Brothers. It makes him better.
Yeah, I was actually amazed at how good Cloud turned out to be when he was actually released in Smash.
Still haven't played it myself. I'm waiting for the complete version.
You're waiting
Yeah.
for Smash Brothers for Switch, Wii U, Wii, Unlimited. There it is.
Yeah, Championship Edition.
Championship Edition.
Esquire,
Yeah, Ultra.
the third. What do you think of the character's second form in the arcade version, Volk?
Character's second forms. Well, I really like Meteor Rain on Cloud. I think it suits him when he's, like, flinging somebody halfway across the screen, and if he hits a wall at a relatively small distance, you can still follow it up with a Meteor Rain, and probably hit them. But usually it just kind of depends on what you want to do. Because obviously the different EX things provide different buffs for your allies, so you can share Bravery out. So if you just wanted to be a Bravery battery, like say with Squall, and just smack people with Bravery attacks constantly, share it all out, and then just go ham, that's absolutely a thing you can do.
Nice.
I'm already kind of seeing where there are a lot of little strategies and roles that you can play just by the EX moves. So increasing attack power, obviously, and sharing Bravery, that's obviously very, very good.
So are we doing net play now?
Yeah, we're going to be trying a bit of matchmaking and see if it actually works.
Okay, okay. Oh, Lil Pumpkin meant their second costumes.
Oh, the second costumes. From what I've seen of the second costumes, they are pretty badass. I do like what they've done with some of them, like with Ramza having his mercenary uniform. That's a very solid choice. Squall with his Seed uniform, you know, kind of expected that, but I like that they also changed his gunblade.
Ah.
He actually has the red one, I can't remember the name, Cutting Edge or something like that. So I like how they change up the weapons as well for some of them, but I'll have to have a proper look at them. Because I do actually remember quite a lot of them, so it would be nice to give those another gander.
Because I remember that was like the huge big thing about Cloud's ult, was that it turns his Buster Blade to First Blade.
Oh yeah, that was pretty damn dope. Oh, there we go, we're in.
And there are a lot of characters that I just would always use their alt costume. I would always use Bart's sprite-looking design. I would always use the red outfit for Warrior of Light. Furion's alt as well.
I think I remember. I can't remember much about Furion's ult, but I do remember it looked pretty damn nice.
Yeah, it's the red one where he kind of looks like he has a mohawk.
Oh yeah, that one was pretty good.
I like that one. And there was that one. I pretty much kept Onion Knight the same. Oh, what's his name? Cecil. I like the one where it's based off of the Final Fantasy IV PlayStation 1 cutscene. So where he's like super white with just barely any red on his paladin form. I like that costume.
Yeah, that one was pretty dope too.
And occasionally go for the costume that gives her green hair because Terra got green hair, guys.
Oh, did you find the party, Bob?
I did, we're in.
Nice. And here's the updated bid wall for Aeris. 166, Aeris named Gonna Live. 125, Aeris named Gonna Die. Ooh, it's getting red hot.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a close one. I think the Barrett one and the Eris one are gonna be pretty close calls, I reckon.
And don't forget, I need 25 more dollary dues if I'm gonna read the stuff from friggin' Final Fantasy X-2.5.
Shin, you all know it.
Alright. Being by myself isn't necessarily doing me much good by the looks of it. I should probably stick with the team.
Oh, Final Fantasy IX in your beautiful settings.
Oh yeah, this is probably one of my favorite looking stages in general. It just looks really, really nice. And instantly recognizable, for me at least, even as someone who hasn't played it in quite some time.
Man, there's a lot of places they could have picked from FF9 that would have been instantly recognizable. Here, Lundblom, you could have done Terra. Hell, you could have done Ipsen Castle. That would have been great.
Oh, Bart's just teleported.
The other ones would just be like weirdo dungeons that are too small.
I want Bart. I want Bart. Get back here.
Want butts. Need butts.
I want your butts.
As well.
Gotta have the butts.
Little Pumpkin 2000 says, what character would you want to see in this game that wasn't in the previous Dissidia game?
Ooh, there's a bunch that I could probably call from here. There's a particular, there was a, like, faux Dissidia box art, which had some of the characters from the odd Final Fantasies. So, like, some of the movies, like Final Fantasy Infinite, and some of the secondary characters as well. And, one character I wouldn't mind seeing from the Final Fantasy 13 side would actually be Sid Reigns. I think he'd be pretty awesome in the Dissidia game, because you can kind of play into his metamorphosis kind of deal. So I reckon he'd be pretty hype.
I want Saz. That's also because he's probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, period. Honestly, with this game, no. I was gonna think maybe Waka could be interesting, but you know, Titus already throws a blitzball, and that's basically all Waka would do.
Yeah, that's true.
Ivy, if you could make him unique enough, and that has always been his issue, and that's the reason he hasn't been in any of these fucking games, is that they keep coming up with unique ways for magic to work in this game, and then because of that, they're like, well, we can't really come up with a way for Vivi. It's like, you came up with 3 new mage characters. Oh, but Vivi is just so hard to think of a way to make unique. Fuck off.
I'm just thinking about who else would be pretty good to have in there. I suppose if you can call them more Final Fantasy 14 characters, there's quite a few you could go with.
I am amazed at the restraint of them not putting Noctis in yet, given all the FF15 shilling going on.
No, I'm
right
pretty
now.
sure Noctis is a shoo-in, to be honest with you.
True. What about Edgar from 6? That way you could use like his chainsaw and his drill, his random weapons.
Yeah, that would probably work quite nicely.
Shit, you could even, and this is really stretching, you could have Lon and Rain from World of Final Fantasy as a tag team character.
Ooh,
Yeah, you could.
that's an idea.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, you got defeated, Volk.
Yeah, but at least I wasn't the one that took the final hit. I tried to be a survivor. And more to the point, I was at a point where I could probably take out one more person as well, so, you know. I was trying to play the route of trying to snipe someone out towards the end, but unfortunately didn't quite work out.
Also, anyone from some more 7 peeps, you know. I know we're all sick and tired of the 7 peeps, but Sid and or Red 13 is all I'm saying.
I suppose you could put a Turk in there as well, like maybe Reno or Rufus, possibly. It'd probably work out alright.
Sid or Red 13.
Or Red 13, yeah. I mean, Red 13 would be pretty damn unique, because it's just like, best doggo enters the battlefield.
Or Mog. I want to beat everyone with a Moogle. Just wreck everyone.
Yep, just bring in Kutan from Final Fantasy VI, there you go.
Oh my god, I think the spoilers for X-2.5 are better than just me reading the synopsis.
Trying to remember what would have been another one. Mont Blanc, since now tactics characters are okay. Dude,
What about Orlando? He'd be pretty hype.
We got another $25 donation. Hey, it's the $50 guy again. I'm in the mood for story time with Tom. Put this towards Ares dying again.
Oh yes, here we go. Get comfy, grab your popcorn. It is now story time with Uncle N Tom.
Okay, God dies. Jesus Christ.
Good. Go
Tell you
down.
what, I'll read what's on the wiki. I don't know if this is all of it, but I'll do what I can. Here we go. I may be speaking for a long time here, so I apologise if I don't get to donations, and I'm talking about Vulcan Mexi, whatever. You donated for it, you'll get it.
Well, we'll remain silent for this, don't you worry. You carry on.
Here we go. Final Fantasy X-2.5, I No Daisho. After reuniting with Tidus on the Besaid Island shore, Yuna, Tidus, and the Gullwings return to Besaid Village along with Lulu, Waka, and the rest of the villagers. Tidus is surprised to be introduced to Vedina, whoever that is, Waka and Luna's child. Oh, okay, it's Waka's and Luna's child. On the way, Tidus talks to Waka and the Besaid Aurochs about everything that has happened in his 2 years of absence. During the preparations for a welcome party, Yuna is busy greeting the village elders at the Besaid Temple, and Lulu explains Tidus should leave her alone for the time being. Riku comments Tidus hasn't changed a bit before introducing him to Pain. Mid-conversation, Tidus starts making glances for Yuna, which annoys Riku, who takes back her previous statement and notes that although Tidus' appearance hasn't changed, he's not the same light-hearted Tidus he was 2 years ago. They talk about the Gullwing sphere hunting activities. God, there's a lot of this. The 3 new factions of Youth League, New Yevon, and the Machine faction, as well as Yuna's reason for becoming a sphere hunter and how she had brought Tidus back with the help of the Faith. Afterwards, Waka and Tidus talk about Blitzball and the Aurochs' losses since Tidus left, and Waka attempts to confirm he is real and not an unsent. Besaid has become a prosperous place thanks to the tourism brought on by Yuna's influence and a newly established fishery business. Waka and the Aurochs go to the beach to practice Blitzball, where Waka introduces their new boat to Tidus, the SS Ace, described as smaller than usual, yellow, and slightly worn out. The Aurochs trophy from the time they had won the tournament with Tidus in Luca is placed on top, because of course it is. Oh my god, so much to read. Tidus meets Briar, a man of few words, dispatched from Bevel to work as a priest at Besaid Temple. Briar notices Tidus hails from Zanarkand of 1,000 years ago. After returning to the village, Tidus is informed Yuna is still with the elders, who had been waiting for her return since her departure with the Gullwings. Waka explains that due to the change of beliefs and the diminishing power of Yevon's teachings, Yuna serves as a comforting presence to relieve the anxiety and uncertainty now felt by the elderly who had lived by Yevon's teaching for so many years. Okay. Summoners used to live on Besaid Island 1,000 years ago, during the time of the Machina War between Bevel and Zanarkand. Summoners are described as those with an enhanced sensitivity to fireflies, trained to fight against Zanarkand, while living a life of suppression regardless of their own desires. Summoners took the name of a god, in quotation marks, and once they died or became an unsent, they gave up that name, reverting to their original name, with another succeeding the god's name. God almighty. Bador was the old name for the Al-Bed race, who were treated as the lowest class in society and worked in factories manufacturing weaponry and machines and were sometimes blamed for worsening the war. The name was changed to Al-Bed by Yevon, with Briar speculating that the name Al-Bed was easier to make fun of. Fake Beldor were robotic Beldor created by Arb at the request of Velm to fight the war. Jesus. They wore yellow suits and goggles, wielded long, wire-like whips, and were extremely weak, lacking any battle prowess or agility. You're in it for the long slog, Tom. You're in it for the long slog. Mages and assassins from Zanarkand invaded Besaid, carrying bombs that resembled blitzballs to eliminate the summoners. The Guardian Velm vowed to protect his summoner Kush, and led his army of soldiers and a group of fake Beldor to fight them. Kush went missing, and Velm searched for her, only to find her unconscious and half-naked with Ithanol, another summoner, in his bedroom. Ithanol claimed it was the only way, but Velm was angered by the scene and charged at him. Velm attempted to awaken Kush when a fake Beldor entered and slapped Kush to wake her up. Velm tried to stop Beldor, only to be held down by Ithanol, and Kush was awakened. A second fake Beldor wielding a gun entered the room and killed Velm. Kush, traumatized, refused to send him to the far plane, which Velm interpreted as her telling him to become a fiend or go to hell. He felt he deserved it and resolved to repent in hell. It is later revealed that Velm's intention was to become Kush Jushin, a type of summon apparently akin to an Aeon, by giving up his life for her, but was unable to receive this due to being killed by the fake Beldor, which deepened his hatred for them. Infidel revealed that Crush had loved Velm and did not wish for him to become her Jushin, so she had requested to become Infidel's Jushin instead, so that Velm could live free, and possibly leave the Iron behind for a better life. We move now to girls' side. I think the previous one was boys' side. The Gullwings airship breaks down, and Tidus finds Yuna has gone missing, and that a storm is to hit Besaid later that night. Ooh, very topical. He searches for her on the beach and boards the Aurochs boat, but ends up falling asleep in the cabin. Upon waking, he finds the boat moving in the darkness with Yuna in the captain's seat, dressed in a white robe. She explains the elderly wanted to hear about her adventure with the Gullwings, and how she feels culpable for the collapse of Yevon and their teachings following the defeat of Sin, having robbed the elderly of their spiritual support. Tidus disagrees and they argue, but after making up, Yuna proclaims she does not ever want to leave him. While trying to return to Besaid, Yuna and Tidus get lost at the stormy sea and end up shipwrecked in an uninhabited island that resembles Besaid. They find 2 stone statues, one of which is revealed to be of someone called Luchel, and another that Tidus seems to slightly resemble Awaka the 13th, both pointing in a certain direction that leads them to the area where the village would otherwise be, but there is no village, only a dense forest. Tidus hypothesizes that they had traveled 1,000 years into the past, somehow. They explore the forest, hoping to find a clue to return home when a ball rolls towards them. Tidus mistakes it as a blitzball and runs towards it while looking for its owner. It explodes, killing Tidus and Yuna, passes out from the shock. Yuna dreams of speaking to someone who claims to be a god and questions her regarding her relationship with Tidus. Yuna describes Tidus as an ordinary boy whom she had met the day she became a summoner, and whom she fell in love with during her pilgrimage. She is sad her feelings cannot be fulfilled, but the god tells her he will cast a spell that will suppress those feelings up until the day she became a summoner, but not erase them, with the possibility of them returning if something were to trigger them. Oh god, we're on the last bit, but it's really long. Come on, Tom, you can do this. Yuna is awoken by Tidus, who is apparently alive now, and they find themselves alone in a room with a smell similar to the priest's room in Besaid Temple. Making their way out into a stone corridor, they find it resembles the Besaid Cloister of Trials, only different in pattern and design. In the main hall, they come across the statues of gods people worshipped before the time of Yevon. Kush, goddess of food and shelter; Velm, goddess of safety; Sloane, god of quenching regret; Arb, god of knowledge; Luchel, god of war; Canella, goddess of protection from darkness; Miu, goddess of light; and Gorado, god of rest. They search for the faith to no avail before leaving the temple and come across a frail woman called Kush from Bivel. She is not the goddess as per the statue, but had only borrowed the name. She explains about the role of summoners in war and the Beldor, and asks Yuna and Tidus what the brightest shining star in the sky is called. While Tidus answers the Blitz star, Yuna answers Nightberry. Kush deems both incorrect, with the correct answer being the Eye of Enri. Yuna understands this is a different world, and Kush disperses into fireflies. Yuna senses the presence of another summoner and tells Tidus they must meet with him to find a way back home. Tidus senses danger and tells Yuna to run, but Yuna hesitates as she fears Tidus will disappear like Kush. Yuna has a vision of Kush in the forest with her guardian Velm, and hears the voice of the summoner she is searching for, but is told that a certain girl must be killed by Tidus if they wish to return home together. Back on Besaid, Waka and the villagers search for the missing Yuna and Tidus, as well as the Aurochs boat, and only recover the Aurochs temple, or trophy rather, at sea. Briar aids in the search when he is approached by a suspicious Lulu, asking why he came to Besaid. He answers it was to protect the temple from the recent thefts and help the elderly with daily chores. Lulu claims she had witnessed people transform into fiends by the ruins while shouting out, "Briar! Briar!" Briar denies, saying she misheard it, but knows it's true. Later that night, Briar ponders his past and the phenomenon of people starting to turn into fiends. He mentions not seeing the fiend of a certain Yevon priest to whom he had made a promise, and looks up into the sky, saying that star is not the Eye of Anri, but Nightberry. Briar had a wife named Mero, who was killed by Yevon's soldiers, and a daughter called Lucielle, who was requested to change her name to Mora by a priest before being married off. He runs into Buddy, Brother, Riku, and Shinra, and gets irritated hearing them speak Al-Bhed. Upon seeing Shinra, he shouts, "What the hell is a Beldor doing here?" and attempts to attack before being knocked out by pain and tied up in Besaid Temple. Briar resembles his past as Kush's guardian, Velm, witnessing a Beldor slap Kush awake before being shot by another fake Beldor, which explains his hate for them. Curious as to what Beldor are, Shinra questions Briar, who explains the origins of the Al-Bhed. He tricks Shinra into releasing him by promising to repair the airship before knocking him out and escaping. Briar realizes that he is an unsent from 1,000 years ago, and now that he has acknowledged it, he does not have much time left. Christ, we're getting there, Tom, we're getting there.
Doing good.
Back
Keep
in
it
the
up.
other world, Yuna tells Tidus she wants to be alone for a while and goes for a walk, but does not return, leaving Tidus worried. While Tidus is looking at Lucelle's statue, Kush appears and explains she is a Jushin. She makes a bargain with him to grant the power to return to his world on the condition that he finds the Kush in his world and kills her for both him and Yuna to return. Tidus does not understand, and she tells him a man called Briar will know. She grants him a power that allows Tidus to return by imagining his destination and running. And Tidus returns to the world of Besaid of his world. Meanwhile, Yuna, still in the other world, thinks about her time spent with Tidus so far and how she wants them to understand each other's suffering. Yuna remembers what the god in her dream told her and about how she wants a certain girl killed, but is reluctant to tell Tidus about it as she knows he would carry out the order for her sake. She runs into Kush, standing at an altar, who tells her about the summoner Ifanel from 1,000 years ago, who was the one who appeared in her dream and helped bring back Tidus. Ifanel's real name is Joit, born in a place called Maruka, otherwise known as Luca, in Yuna's world. Kush asks about Yuna's feelings for Tidus, to which she replies that being with him was somewhat painful. Yeah, no shit. Kush explains that Tidus had understood her desire to be alone, an understanding of which Kush herself envies. Yuna spots the name of the gods carved on the stone beside the altar from which summoners and guardians adopted their names. Lucielle, Garai, Arg, Velm, Canella, Sloane, Miyu, Mika, Gecko, Ramandi, Anri, Ifanel, and Kush. Kush makes a deal with Yuna that she bring her Ifanel. Let me restart that. Kush makes a deal with Yuna that she will bring her to Ifanel, provided that Yuna does not send her to the far plane before shining brightly and dispersing into fireflies. Yuna finds herself on a rusty boat with a skinny old man with long white hair, who is revealed to be Ifanel, now known as Joit. He explains that he is no longer the muscular redhead he once was, and that the name Ifanel, or God of Beauty, is no longer appropriate for him. He tells her about the faith and that while in Yuna's world they were created by Yunalaska for summoners to fight sin, the faith during the Macedon War were created by the summoners themselves with the help of someone they shared deep feelings with. Ifanel shows Yuna a scene in which she blushes in embarrassment. Ifanel apologizes and explains that there are easier ways to make a faith. The summoner and faith must share a mutual sympathy to summon an Aeon, something which Joit says he was not able to do adequately. He explains the island she was on was summoned by him, created with the use an uncountable number of faith. I'm going insane. Ifanel tells Yuna to go down into the cabin, which reeks of dead bodies. Inside is a chocobo, surrounded by fireflies, i.e. another summon. Yuna encounters 4 fake Beldor, 3 male and 1 female, holding what looks like a blitzball, the one that exploded on Tidus. Joit explains they, along with him, had escaped the island during the war on this boat, but ended up having to return after 1 week due to there being too many enemies at sea. By that time, the war had settled, and the era of temples in Yevon had begun, leading to the execution of the Beldor. Yuna asks, almost there, Yuna asks if the boat is real or a summon, and Joit replies that it must be real as he stopped the summon, unable to continue due to inadequate bonding with the faith. Yuna dashes outside, realizing they have returned to the Besaid of her world. A mass of fireflies gathers to form Briar, whom Yuna remembers as the man who was dispatched from Bevel to Besaid. Joit and Briar know each other, as they were Ifanel and Velm in their past. They argue how Ifanel betrayed Velm by taking Kush and using her as his Jushin. Ifanel orders the Bedel Sorry, I'm getting words wrong at this point. Inferno orders the Beldor on board to eliminate Briar using the bomb, which misses and starts rolling towards Joit. Joit tells Briar how Kush loved him and grieved greatly to the point of her own deterioration before the ball explodes, with Joit vanishing into fireflies. Briar asks where Kush is, to which Yuna replies she does not know, deciding to keep quiet about Tidus's order from Ethanol to kill her. Briar realizes the reason he is able to exist like this is because he was beckoned by Kush's feelings, which he deems as proof she must be safe. Now alone on the boat, Yuna tries to whistle, believing Tidus will come running, but hesitates. Meanwhile, Besaid village is in chaos as everyone interrogates Tidus on Yuna's whereabouts. Tidus explains that to bring Yuna back, they must find Briar as per his order from Kush, and the village begins to search in the ruins. Tidus remembers Briar had told him about his main reason for coming to Besaid, to fulfill a promise he made to a priest to research the ruins and machinate on Besaid and to file a report to Bevel. Tidus recalls the power Kush had given him and dashes off, leaving Waka and the rest of the villagers bewildered. He tries to imagine Yuna, hoping that Kush's power will help him reach her, and he finds her at the beach. Tidus explains to her about Kush and the power she gave him and how he must find her. Using the power, they find a frail Kush sitting in a chair. Yuna sees she is just a beckoning. Bria appears, relieving... Yuna sees she is just a beckoning. Briar appears, relieved to reunite with Kush. He thanks Tidus and Yuna for helping them meet before they disappear together. With Kush gone, the power she had granted Tidus vanishes, and Yuna and Tidus return to Besaid. Tidus and Yuna travel to Zenikin by foot due to the airship still not flying. They stand on the spot where they once had a bonfire during their pilgrimage, and Yuna asks Tidus if she's real, or he's real, and not just a dream. She smiles, praying they can be together forever. However, Yuna knows she beckoned him after the incident on the island via her feelings for him, and if Tidus realizes this, he will disappear, as occurred when Briar realized he was beckoned but via Kush's feelings. And that's all there is. Oh my god.
Dumb.
Oh, I'm not done yet. Here's a fucking thing from, it must be like V or something. A short plot outline is detailed here. Eunice and Tidus get stranded on an island. Tidus is unable to concentrate on battle because of Eunice's swimsuit. They argue. The beach is covered in blitzballs. Tidus accidentally kicks one of them in anger. It's actually a bomb. This part was not read out. His head gets blown off his body. It lands next to Yuna and explodes. Yuna passes out. The island is either created by an ancient summoner or a refuge for summoners to hide during the Machina War. There is a mysterious old man on the island. Yuna resurrects Tidus through the far plane by whistling. They have sex to create a new faith. She realizes this Tidus is different than the Tidus she knew. They break up. The new faith has revived all dead life on Spyro. Sin is reborn anew.
Wow.
That sure is something. Oh my god.
And y'all thought Final Fantasy X 2 ruined the story.
Oh my god, can you just imagine if they actually turned that into a video game? Like, my god.
Yes, Gold. They had sex to create a new faith. That's how it works.
Well, obviously.
Lord have mercy.
But that was amazing. Thank you very much for the story time there, Tom.
No worries, the people donated for it, and I shall do what they want. Well,
why Japan? Why Japan?
We are now currently at $3,115.68. Don't forget, every $500 you'll unlock a new game. So once we reach 3,500, you'll unlock the 7th incentive game. Ooh.
Very nice.
Well, I don't know where you can read the full novelization. I guess you'll have to buy it, but that's where I read the version I just read out.
But do you really want to read it? Do you really?
Not really. It just seems unnecessary. Oh, by the way, this is the creme de la creme, the crown on the cherry, or whatever. Reception. The novella has been received negatively by many Japanese fans.
Oh gee, I wonder why.
You don't say. Negative. And we'll see how. Such amazing concept as fuck a fate.
Yeah, fuck a faith.
That's the true message of Final Fantasy X. Give a hoop, fuck a faith.
Jesus.
I like the part where it's like the bomb blew up his body, but it just blew his head over to Yuna and then exploded again.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh my god, there's even more like fucking summaries and whatnot. Girl's side. Tidus finds himself distanced upon his realization of how Spyro has changed from his departure without him. Yuna sells herself and Tidus out to sea, sans Tidus's conscientiousness. He had been asleep on the boat. Tidus and Yuna have sexy time on the boat because Tidus feels connuptions, causing the boat to wreck due to absence of a helmsman. Yeah, that's a... Yeah, well, there are positions that could probably alleviate that, but whatever. Tidus and Yuna wander the island, trying to blah, 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 blah. Tidus gets hit by a bomb in the back of his head and mistakes it for a blitz ball. He approaches the bomb, which detonates and blows his head off, causing Yuna to pass out. That's just the funniest image. Like, oh, here comes the Jack Special.
Oh my god.
Shower.
I'm afraid it may be canon. It may be.
It's super canon, guys. It's hecka canon.
Like, X2 was pushing it, but at least it had a decent game to back it up from what I've heard. This is just wanking off, really.
Pretty much.
Or it ends with the words "to be continued," the story being followed up in Final Fantasy X will. Oh,
What?
There's more.
Oh
No.
my god.
No, there's not. You're lying.
There's more.
That's impossible.
It centers around two new characters, Choami and Kurgum.
Okay. Do they have any relation to other characters?
Choami is a 17-year-old girl who is a member of the Spirit Council and claims to be the legendary guardian Orin's daughter.
Nope. I'm done. Bye.
Alright. If we can get another $50, Mexi, you can read that one out then.
Oh fuck no! I'm not.
Wait, is that out? Is that done?
I don't know.
Alright, find out if it is, because we could possibly make that another donation drive.
It's an audio drama. It's set 1 year after the events of 10-2 and 6 months after last mission.
That might actually be the one I was talking about earlier. Potentially. Because the one I remember reading certainly didn't involve exploding blitzballs.
Nice.
What was that about?
It's not meant to depict a particular event, but to hint at the characters' lives after the events of 10-2. The developers didn't want a particular image to be set in stone by presenting clear visuals, and that's why audio only was chosen to leave room in the fans' imagination. Well, I mean, yeah, you left enough there when you blew Titus's head off.
Can't believe it.
The fact that these very things exist is just incredible to me.
This is ridiculous.
And the audio drama was like just recently made. Like they made it 10 years after the game.
Jeez.
Wow.
So it's
Does it
not
have
even like
a summary or a synopsis?
yeah.
Need some help.
It's like 6 paragraphs.
Fine, post it in Discord.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Why is Final Fantasy X story getting so shit on? Realize how much they had just fucked with Final Fantasy X.
Alright, $50. Actually, you know what? I give you 25 for this, because it's not as long as the other one.
Alright then.
The audio drama was also included with the HD remasters. Well, I'm reading it here and I'm reading it now.
Oh my god, it was actually included in the HD remaster? That's insane.
They're
Oh.
canon, guys. Oh shit, and this one also involves beckoning to... it's canon. It's all canon.
The Zianotto says, so wait, are y'all telling me that Tidus really got to have Yuna's tutor?
That is the single best thing. Oh goodness me. That is a fantastic line right there.
Do it, Jiro, do it!
You know you want to hear it.
And you guys all thought that the Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy VII connection was bad, and it's not even like that bad.
I won't disappoint you guys.
So dumb.
The name's Bart.
The fuck happened in 2005? What the fuck? People making good, nice, wholesome games, and then all of a sudden, what if the Blitzballs are bombs?
I don't care, that's the funniest image. No, I'll give you an even funnier one. The head rolls off, it's still conscious, and it rolls over to the unit, and he starts doing the laugh.
Oh my god, we need fan art of that immediately.
Oh, Jesus.
No, Final Fantasy VI story isn't stupid because that game hasn't gotten any sequels, any prequels, and was made before 2005.
Oh, I'm gonna write one, don't you worry. Uncharted is still happening, it's just happening later today. After this we've got Bloody Roar 2, which should be fairly shortish. And then about 6 PM BST, 1 EST, we should be starting with Uncharted 2.
Cool.
Bexy, you can stay for as long as you like, we'll probably need more HFC anyway.
I may have to dip out every once in a while for food, though.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
Of course, yeah.
Come on, we're not animals, we're not gonna make you starve to death for COCOMs.
Or will we?
About Final Fantasy VI fanfics, I never really read too many as a kid, but that was one that I actually read the whole thing, and I actually enjoyed as a kid, was Final Fantasy VI sequel fanfic. And it was pretty okay because, like, legitimately just wanted to show what everyone's lives were after the game. They weren't trying to make, like, you know, fan characters be everyone's daughters or shit. So they did a cool one where one of the chapters is Gao wearing, like, clothes and trying to be normal after living on the Veld. Like, it does interesting shit like that, but then it goes batshit fucking insane with the one original character where it's some dude who thinks he's the Emperor's son, and so he tries to rebuild the entire Gestalt Empire. And then, like, halfway through the story, he discovers that he's not the Emperor's son, but he's Kefka's son. So then he tries to, like, run the Empire as this, like, Kefka Joker light. And then, like, in the last quarter, he finds out that he's actually no one's son. He's just a fucking crazy dude.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. 12-year-old me enjoyed it.
I have the thing for Final Fantasy X Will here, $25, and I'll read it.
There you go, you won't get a deal like that again. That is a real Bobby Dazzler of just fun and possibly wanting to never read that thing again. But it'll be interesting for the lols, and it'll also be for the kids, so you know.
Blitzball.
Don't have enough regrets in your life? We can fix that quick.
Yes, we can.
Can't fucking believe it.
You know what? Even if it wasn't the one I was thinking it was, that was just amazing. I am so glad that we got to read that out.
Nothing even ended up happening at the end. She was just like, oh shit, if this isn't the real Titus, I can't let him know or he'll go far, far away.
I was just finding it amusing the amount of times that Tom probably said "koosh" in that entire story.
Yeah.
How much of that story was dedicated to just giving the Al Bhed an unnecessary backstory?
Well, don't forget,
Like,
I was reading the synopsis. I wasn't reading all the fine details.
I know. Like, who cares? The Al Bhed are hated. Why? Because people are assholes. The end.
You know, I just realized
What?
they used to be called Beldor. Well, I'm pretty sure that's the name of a Pokemon.
That's
Boldor?
Boldor, Beldum. There's a couple there.
Boldor. Boldore.
Yeah. Gigalus, second form.
Uh,
I don't think I like Final Fantasy X anymore, guys.
it's fine. The original exists, and they can't ever change that.
But it's canon. I can't.
Alright, let's see how this bravery share thing works out. There you go. Have some bravery.
Nice.
All the bravery.
Yeah, so now, like, people running around with 6k bravery. If anybody gets near them, they're dead.
More bravery than my body has room for.
Well, you only have enough room in your
Sent
body
back
for
to Spyro.
9,999 bravery exactly. No more. You can't go over.
Well, Spike, that's what we're gonna get for a $25 donation here, mate. I have the summary of it here.
It killed any chance of X3. I don't want X3. I don't want it.
Especially if he ends up like that.
Nope, I don't want it.
I mean, even the very idea of a follow-up to that just frankly scares me.
I don't want a Final Fantasy IX anything now, just because if that's how the writers, what they're doing nowadays, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, knowing them, Zidane would end up being his own granddad.
More time travel. Well, Final Fantasy IX didn't have enough time travel, so yeah, they'd probably try to throw in as much as they could there. Also, when you said the Owaka, the 13th statue, I was so afraid that it was gonna be like revealed that Titus is Owaka the First. I was like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I ever heard. But then the rest of the story happened. It's like, nope, not the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
We've got about another 35 minutes here before I believe we're switching over to Bloody Roar 2.
Excellent, I can get a few more games in that way with Cloud just to see how it all works. I might try out Squall again as well, because obviously Squall is my boy.
Do they have any good writers? The World of Final Fantasy writers were pretty good.
Man, they do love their jokes though.
That they do. That much is evident after what we just heard. Yeah, I think 35 minutes is sensible enough.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Have you been taking a sneak preview by any chance?
No, I'm just gonna post this in the thing, and yeah, someone made this image after reading X 2.5 Final Mix or whatever. Enjoy that, Mexi.
Yes! That is amazing.
It's beautiful.
Oh, post that in the chat.
Oh, if I must.
Oh, you have to.
The studio are fine.
Oh my god, that is incredible.
Why would they think that is okay?
Because it's art, where you have to be mad.
Art! And remember, he only got blown up because he was distracted at Yuna's swimsuit, too.
This contest's as good as one. I'm not alone. I have friends.
Okay, I think I've let off all my rage now. I'm good.
Good story. But yeah, no, I mean, the writers at Silicon Studio do good RPG writing. The Bravery games weren't cringy.
I think the writing for the original 10 is pretty good as well. Like, they all seem like actual people. Not like in the science there, it's like you don't agree with me or something.
I was just kind of thinking, because I was like, are there any characters that just feel underused? I mean, like, Lulu gets her moments in the beginning, but then just towards the end, it's nothing.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, she was just kind of there.
They're good in the beginning once they have, like, their, hey, we're characters, we're friendly, oh no, we have faults and flaws and backstories, and then as soon as those get spieled, then it's like, alright, we're good, we resolved
we have $25 from Spike the Devil. 25 you say? How could I say no?
You are a modern day hero, Spike.
Alright,
Okay, here we go, here we fucking go.
Oh, I'm ready for this.
Final Fantasy X Will is an audio drama written by Kazushige Nojima for Final Fantasy X/X2 HD Remaster. It is set 1 year after the events of Final Fantasy X2 and 6 months after the events of Final Fantasy X2 Last Mission. It centers around 2 new characters, Chawami and Kurgum. Jesus. Chawami and Kurgum are sent to Besaid by Baralai to meet with Yuna. they meet Tidus, a blitzball star, on Bevel's Stadium Road, and Chiwami notices he's injured and has little energy, although he is trying to hide it. Reaching Besaid on their airship, Chiwami and Kurgum meet Lulu and Waka, who take them to Yuna, who has returned to the mannerisms and dress style of her summer days and spends her time praying for Spyro's peace in the temple, much to Chiwami's chagrin. Kurgum shows Yuna a movie sphere with a recording of 2 shoe puffs at the Moonflow. The shoe puff was the last of its kind, after the female was killed by Sin 30 years ago, but it mysteriously reappeared one morning, causing Yuna to speculate the shoe puff had been beckoned. Kurgum tells Yuna she must accompany him and Chiwami back to Bevel and address the Spira Council. When Yuna refuses, Chiwami tells her about the injured Tidus, compelling Yuna to take action. When Lulu overhears Chiwami mention being Auron's daughter, that's right, Auron's daughter, Lulu confronts her, saying that she doesn't look like him and that many people have claimed to be children of Auron, Jack, and Braska. Chiwami says she takes after her mother, who wouldn't have lied to her, but Lulu says Chiwami would remember meeting Auron and that he would have mentioned having children since he wasn't the type of person to hide such a thing. Kurgum and Chiwami's airship needs repairs, so the pair, Yuna and Waka, journey to Bevel on foot. Stopping at the Moonflow, they see the shoe puffs and a crowd of onlookers where half of the people are illusions created by the Fireflies. They see a father and his daughter Meilu with the illusion of her mother, who answers Meilu's request for them to go home together, which stuns the group since the illusions normally can't hear or speak. Kurgum tries to send the illusions to the far plane, but stops after Yuna says they don't have the right to interfere with the reunion. At Bevel, they find Sin has been reactivated, possibly beckoned by someone's wish. Yuna, realizing that the eternal calm was not to be after all, rushes to meet with Tidus. Yuna, who had previously told Chiwami that Tidus is her boyfriend, but when Chiwami and Kurgum eavesdrop on the conversation between the two, it seems they are breaking up. Yuna is jealous of Tidus' friend, Marfi, but soon tells him she doesn't care anymore, and has already got another person she likes. Tidus... fuck. I can't fucking speak anymore. Tidus asks who it is, but Yuna tells him it's someone he doesn't know, and leaves. Kurgum tells Chiwami they should split up because he's in love with Yuna. Chiwami is angered and confused, but Kurgum tells her it is something that only summoners can understand. Chiwami and Kurgum part ways, with the latter accompanying Yuna and Waka, and the former returning to Besaid with Tidus. When Tidus asks Lulu about Yuna's new love interest, Lulu says that she thought Tidus would know Yuna better, and tells him to figure it out himself. She says that if something else can be brought back, then Sin's revival shouldn't be surprising. After Tidus figures out the meaning behind Lulu's words, they depart with Chiwami in tow. On a ship with Lulu and Chiwami, Tidus says he wants to accompany Yuna and the others on her new journey, since he promised to be with her forever. Elsewhere, Yuna delivers a speech to the crowd in a stadium, proclaiming she'll defeat Sin once more. The end. That's it. It's done. Sin is back. Enjoy.
I just love the whole breakup thing. Just like, yeah, I'm kind of jealous of your friend, but I don't care anymore. There's already somebody else I like. That's like a dick move on Yuna's part. Seriously.
I'm sorry, Tidus. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. It's actually Kamaru.
Man, we all knew that. Actually, where has he been in all these books? Why isn't his backstory as safe and secure?
Nobody cares about Kamaru.
His head is safely attached to his shoulders.
No, his penis blows off and rolls along the beach like a blitzball.
Ew.
I can see why that part was omitted. It's only in the 18+ version.
Please stop saying Yuna's tuna, okay? Once was enough.
Ew.
Bloody Roar 2 is coming on after this in about 30 minutes, and then after that we've got Uncharted 2.
One thing I'm trying to work out with Squall right now is in amongst all that, whatever the hell it was that we just listened to, is trying to work out how to do Squall's blasting triggers and all that. It seems to happen randomly, but I'm not entirely sure if there's a way to actually make it happen constantly. Because he does get more damage if you do all the gunbladey stuff proper, but I'm trying to work out how to do it.
Oh, is that when he fires and causes the blade to vibrate so it hurts more for some reason?
Well, yeah, it's a fucking gun blade. He'd like shoot you at the same time he slashes you.
Anime.
Just trying to work out how the hell to do it.
Wow, little pumpkin, why would you mute us? Rude.
Well, people only have so many brain cells, and I'm sure everyone listening to me, you know, speak those foul, illegal words have lost a few.
Beckoning, blitzball bomb, koosh.
I mean, one way it's sweet, but on the other it's completely retarded. I'm glad you had great times there, Nauto, because my voice is fucked now. I think someone else would have to take over first shift of Uncharted and Bloody Roar 2 for me.
It was worth it in the end. We made $75 whole and ruined everybody's opinions of Final Fantasy X forever.
Well, no, actually, we made 50, 75, 100. We made 125.
Not bad. That is
It only took $125 to ruin a great game.
I could get used to working with you.
So yeah, we are at 3,114 now, so I guess in $360 you guys will unlock the next incentive game.
Is the incentive game Final Fantasy X?
No.
No, it's not.
Can you just imagine if it was in terms of all that? I would be laughing so hard.
At $50,000, I, ntom64, will recreate X2.5 XD Championship Edition with finger puppets.
Honestly, that's something that needs to be done. The synopsis of those stupid fucking book.
Just do it in the style of Potter Pals and it'll be fantastic.
Get out of here, you stupid blitzball.
You can just imagine, what's that ticking noise? And there's a blitzball just on the table. And then you just got a guy going, goosh, goosh, something, something, goosh. And in the end, Titus's head gets blown off. There you go.
Come on, we can take these goons down.
I'm not doing it for a Christmas special, go away.
Yeah, we already have the
Christmas
Ghibli
has no
font.
meaning. Christmas has no meaning after those stories.
They say Christmas only comes once a year. It came twice this year.
And so did I.
So Volk, how's online been treating you so far, mate?
Well, the matchmaking does take a while, so I'm back on the practice bench at the moment, just to get a few good fights in there before our allotted time has run out. But it seems to be pretty solid. There was only a couple of moments where it lagged, and for a beta, that's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's been pretty much buttery smooth. Both online and offline, which is pretty fantastic.
Wait, if you're on the practice bench, how am I seeing gameplay on the stream right now?
Well, there is gameplay, but I'm on practice mode as opposed to matchmaking.
Oh, okay.
Because, like I said, it was taking about 10 minutes to find a match, and sometimes you just get AI opponents anyway. It's not quite there yet, but we'll have to see if over the next few days it ends up being any better. The closed beta is going to be on for like a week or so, so they've got time to kind of fix things up and fine-tune things before it goes away again.
We are on the cusp of victory.
But I'm mostly just having fun trying to figure out things at the moment. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how to do School's gunbladey shenanigans.
Lil Pumpkin says, how do you feel about Tola being the representative for FF14 Vault?
I'd say it makes sense, although I think many people would probably wish for something like a Thancred, maybe, or a Yida. That's sort of like a hand-to-hand combatant, but I like the idea of sort of like having a black/white mage in the mix. Rather than
call a red mage.
Well, not officially. I mean, red mages have only just become a thing in Final Fantasy XIV.
Tell you what, Volk, I'll take Bloody Roar 2, just so you can have a break, and then you can take the first shift on that thingy.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, so you can just grab a quick bite to eat.
Sure thing. That sounds fine to me. Yeah, this is
really
really
all that
fun.
much.
No.
Good, good. Like fun games.
Like I said, I think Mexi will probably find it a lot better when the full game's out and you can do the 1v1 lobbies and such.
Once I can start grinding out combos.
Yep. Although there are room for sort of like wall splat shenanigans as well, but it's not in the same way as in Dissidia, because if you wall splat too many times, eventually the opponent gets invincibility frames, so they can kind of get the hell out of dodge, rather than just be continuously locked down to a wall and then just eventually die.
Good times.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm very much looking forward to like the full release, and I'll be able to try out some of the other characters, some of the villains. I'm hoping Golbez makes it in, because he was probably one of my main characters in the original Dissidia. I just liked his design, his demeanor, like everything about it was just cool. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna main him along with Squall.
I don't see why they wouldn't bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, they already have like the models for him and such, and like the basic foundations of how he works, so I can see it happening.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what other new characters they have, because obviously we're probably going to expect a Noctis, but
Duh.
what other characters could they potentially include? They may throw in a few new guys in there.
Well, I'm trying to remember, because they always had a list of characters that they wanted to do in Dissidia, and they're probably just gonna like... Saz was on that list, so I'm hoping for that. Because Laguna was on the original games list, but they brought him back in Duodecim. I'm trying to remember who was on that list.
One thing I have to say as well, the English voice acting is also pretty damn good. Very familiar from the other Dissidias, but obviously just done way better. Like, Cloud, for instance, doesn't have that long pause, like, in between, like, half of his sentences.
It definitely has to do with at least these voice actors having practice with these characters. This isn't the first time any of these people have done these characters, so... And,
yeah, you got Doug on Squall, Steve, I think it's Steve, is it Steve Blum that does Cloud? I can't remember.
I think so.
And of course, we got James Arnie Taylor on the Tidus.
I think that's another thing too, is that as a fighting game though, is that since there's not as many of the pre-rendered cutscenes, like awkwardly with sentence lengths, so you don't have to have all those awkward anime pauses.
Yeah, true that. Although I think it is meant to have a story mode, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out.
Oh,
I like
definitely
an alternate costume for Zack for Cloud.
Ooh, I would be quite happy with that, I reckon. It'd be a good way to have Zack in the game by proxy.
Yeah, or it's Steve Burton who plays Cloud.
Oh, Steve Burton. I'm getting him mixed up with Blum for some reason, because I'm an idiot.
What's the deal with Steve's?
It's okay, all we need to know is that Johnny Young Bosch is still Furion for Raisins.
Yes,
Very
the
tall,
multi-talented Johnny Young Bosch. Gotta love him.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but he's good.
Oh!
Well, he has the one voice, let's be honest.
The one era. No, he has the two. If you've ever played freaking, what is it, Tales of Symphonia 2, he has a pretty awful, squeaky young boy voice, and it's terrible.
Oh my god, no. I refuse.
It's really bad. Like, it took forever for me to actually realize that it was also John Young Bosch, but then once you hear it, it's like, oh, yeah, it is him, and it's awful.
I always just found it amusing how in the Persona 4 animated he's basically talking with himself. Whenever he interacts with a Dutchie, you can just tell he's basically the exact same fucking dude.
Yeah, well, they did that in 3 as well, because main character Ryuji and little stripy boy Winthal as well. That's why I thought they were going to do that in Persona 5 again, but nope. Good guys, bad guys all got different voices.
Volk, I recommend you start wrapping up in 10 minutes, just so you can give your final thoughts on the beta.
Yep, sure thing. I'll have a couple more fights in, and then I'll give my closing statements.
What new villains would you like to see in the game?
Well, I've already mentioned that Sid Reigns is sort of like a villainy type character would be pretty damn fine. Who else? For Final Fantasy VIII, I mean, he may be a bit too similar to Squall, but I'd kind of like to see Cypher.
Cypher, yeah.
That would be undeniable proof that they've totally owned you, Lamers.
Because, I mean, Ultimisia is kind of alright, but I always found it to be a bit I don't know, plain, I guess. You know, she has the whole time compression thing. I don't know, she just seems a bit boring. Whereas Cypher, there's like an actual rivalry thing you got going there. And you can change it up a little bit as well. Like, maybe you can have it so Cypher can do, like, HP sacrificing for stronger bravery attacks and things. I think that could work out quite nicely. Who else? Well, obviously Golbez would be one I'd like to see, but he'll probably get in. But in terms of new villains, ones that strike to mind, Sid Reigns and Cypher.
Cool, cool.
Trying to think who else. No, God, I can't even remember his name, but the actual bad guy from Final Fantasy 3. Not Un. Not Durgan. Shoot.
Actually, thinking of Final Fantasy 3, I wouldn't mind seeing Lunaf in the game, seeing he's like sort of become the poster child of Final Fantasy 3 since the DS remake.
Yeah.
I think he'd be pretty good.
Band, that's what I was thinking of. The actual bad guy, but you know, he has to go and summon the Cloud of Darkness, and she gets all the credit.
Pretty much.
Oh, I mean, we already got Gilgamesh, so that's good. For a lot of different game representations as well, so. I'm trying to think else.
You put up a decent fight.
Would be badass for Final Fantasy V as a hero. Would be funny.
I think Faris would be a pretty good choice for like an extra hero.
Ooh, yeah.
Because you can have like the whole long range thing, and you know, have all the pirate cannons and Sildra as well.
It from Tactics Advance. The drunk dad one.
Oh yeah. Although you could also include the Tactic Advance, the person with the pizza cutter, the main character. Marashi or whatever the hell his or her name was.
Marsh.
Marsh, that's the one.
'Cause I'm trying to think of a bunch of other side games as well. So we already got a Type 0, we already got...
Could have a World of Final Fantasy in there, you could put Lana Rain in there, I suppose.
I said that earlier.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, Crystal Chronicles, that's what I was thinking of. Someone from Crystal Chronicles.
Ooh, that would be solid.
That dude from the Wii game with like the psychic powers.
Ah, it's the one who had the teardroppy thingy. That game ended up being super boring because it was just mini games.
I wanted to play it. I still want to play it actually.
Same.
Greetings.
Yeah, Crystal Chronicles is good. Like if you go do stuff like Hyrule Warriors and get like loads of characters in, just go obscure with it. Why not? Give old characters new fans.
Exactly. Crystal Chronicles is pretty hyped too, so I think a lot of people would actually appreciate it.
Just give them... I mean, they're giving us Ramza.
I still say having Orlando in there as well from Tactics would just be the hypest thing. Even though he'd be like stupidly OP most likely. It would be pretty damn fine.
That one's
You can
mine.
leave that one to me.
Hey, we got the double KO in there. Nice. Yeah, I am really liking Cloud. I feel like I could probably get the hang of Squall again once I get used to how his gunblade works, but in terms of accessibility, I think Cloud is just... He's just pure and simple fun. Like, you don't have to worry about him being too sluggish. And if you wanted to get some really meaty hits in there, that is also a thing you could do.
Nice. It looks like his name was... Lael? Whatever.
Are summoned.
Ready to summon.
Sever their limbs in a single blow.
He's super cool. I kid.
God, Cloud, steady on. Just like sever their limbs in a single blow.
Yes.
That's stone cold, man.
Slice him. Needs to be this exact design. Yeah, I would approve of that design of Galoof. I approve.
Gal's the fucking man. I love him. Mostly because of Record Keeper and he has that move that makes him invincible and basically he can solo anything.
Yay!
Also, just to say, I love the fact that Odin pretty much has unlimited blade works going on in his like summon special.
I was wondering what was causing that.
It just suddenly turns into Face Day Night. Unlimited blade works. Have all these spears.
Like I finally found my way.
Alright, I think we've got time for one more, and I can kind of sum up
Yeah,
my
yeah.
final thoughts and all that.
Richie will be popping in during the middle of Uncharted 2 to sing Simple and Plain, which was donated for.
Once more.
Hey, nice, nice. Oops.
This is probably just me, but Selfie would be okay too.
Yeah, I think she'd be alright. She could be like another white magey type character. And...
Well, I just feel like how she would play could be kind of fun. Her character, meh, I could care less, but I just feel, you know, with her weapon and the random magic that her limit break lets her use, like those could be fun.
I would say so. That would be pretty damn hype.
He wins.
There we go.
She would be banned because it would be like a 1% chance that you could instantly win the game.
Just the end. At like the grand
like,
finals
like,
of a
I'm willing to-
tournament.
I'm willing to put stock in those odds. I'm willing to try it.
Let it ride.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's another one, Setzer.
Yes, that's would be pretty damn cool.
Let's just do what we gotta do. Guess working with others can't hurt.
Alright, here we go. Final match of the day before we start off with Bloody Raw. But yeah, Dissidia NT, very, very fun for what I'm playing so far. The thing that blows me away perhaps the most is just the visual and just how smooth the damn thing runs. Just the frame rate is immaculate, just the visuals, oh, so good. Especially when you can see like Squall and Cloud, and it's just like, oh my god. It should be illegal just how pretty these people are.
I think there'll be a story mode, Zorg, in the actual version, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, they have like this whole thing with, I can't remember the names of them, but one of them's called Materia and the other one's, some other dude. Not quite Chaos, but it's a dude similar too.
It kind of looks like, fucking Billy Zane's there, you know?
Yeah, kind of.
This
Right,
is
no
the beat.
no
This is the beat
sign.
where Titus's head blew up.
Yeah. No sign of loophole yet. He's probably still resting, so hopefully he wakes up soon.
Yeah, that PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale kind of took it out of him. Things got a bit crazy during that run, but I suppose we had to do something to stop Luke from going insane. We spoke more Final Fantasy, and I also gave trivia about Space Marines in Warhammer, so that was pretty interesting.
Oh, nice, nice. I actually didn't realise you were part of that stream until I was checking it on YouTube.
Yeah, I was in the chat, and they said, oh hey, you should totally join in and kind of help us with this insanity, and it was just like, well, since you asked nicely, so I stuck around for the rest of it.
Oh, bless you.
But yeah, that was a pretty fun time. Things got a bit crazy after a while, but I suppose when Flame and Mia's in the call, you do have to expect that from time to time. But you know, it was all good fun. I had a good time. But there we go. I believe now, is Samurai Snake ready?
He should be. Let me give him a call.
Alrighty then.
Snake, use that.
Yo, I had no idea that in the mayor's house for Fisherman's Horizon, the model airplanes that are suspended from the ceiling, they're all airships from the previous games.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't even
right.
fucking know.
That was kind of cool. I like that. Alright, I think Snake is ready, so I am going to sign off for now. I'll be back to do a little bit of code comm for Uncharted 2, probably a couple of hours. But yeah, that was Dissidia NT, the closed beta, looking very, very good, very solid. I'm looking forward to seeing how the full game comes out, because obviously then you got the story mode, and you can do like all the fancy lobbies and all that shit. Definitely feeling like I'll be playing this a lot on the live stream with peeps, so yeah. Can't wait for January, it's gonna be a good year.
Alright, coming up next we have Bloody Raw 2, I believe, with Samurai Snake, followed by Uncharted 2 whenever Loophole wakes up with Loophole, so see you then.
See you later, guys.